welcome. Thank you for joining me at the table. I'm Thomas Dotterweich, and before we get started this week, I want to greet you with Alleluia, He is risen, as we are still within the octave of Easter and celebrating the joy of the empty tomb. And so I hope that you had a great Easter celebration and that you continue to celebrate for the next month and a half through the entire Easter season. So Alleluia, He is risen indeed. I come to you today with an exciting announcement about the next diocesan trip. Notice I'm saying trip and not pilgrimage because this is different from the pilgrimage we just did in March and the one we just did in August of last year. This trip, Bishop Fleming and I are taking a group to connect to the National Eucharistic Congress this July in Indianapolis. The Eucharistic Congress is an exciting culmination of the 3-year Eucharistic revival that we've been experiencing over the last 3 years, which started really here in this diocese with our Eucharistic event in May a couple of years ago with Dr. Scott Hahn and Archbishop Alexander Semple. The National Eucharistic Congress is the 10th of its kind that's happening this July once again. But it's the first in 83 years. The last time that the USCCB put something like this together was back in the 1940s. So this is really exciting, and they're expecting up to 80,000 Catholics to be part of this event. Bishop Fleming and I decided, we just have to take a group to experience this historic moment in the life of the church here in the United States. And so we've put a trip together for between 40 and 50 individuals. We're still working out on some of the details and accommodations, making sure we've got enough room for everybody. But we will be taking between 40 and 50 individuals on this trip, and we hope that you will join us. I'll talk about registration in just a moment, but first I want to talk about the event. The Eucharistic Revival itself has been really meant to inspire individuals at the diocesan level and then at the parish level and now at the national level to have a renewed relationship with Christ in the Eucharist and to be inspired to go out and share the good news of Christ's physical presence with us, body, blood, soul, and divinity in the Eucharist, our source and summit, as the Catechism of the Catholic Church describes it. And this Eucharistic Congress really is the crown jewel to just push everyone over the edge and give them that fire in their belly to not be able to contain themselves with sharing what it is that we as Catholics have in the Eucharist. The event daily will have keynote speakers with inspiring talks. The event itself will start with the culmination of 4 Eucharistic processions, which are going to start on Corpus Christi of this year, starting from the different coasts and north and south in our country, walking the Eucharist all the way to Indianapolis and coming together at one point where then it is paraded into the Lucas Oil Stadium to the nearly 80,000 Catholics that'll be there. And we will have the opportunity to adore Christ right there with our fellow Catholics. It is such an exciting time. Throughout the days of the Congress, there'll be small group or small breakouts, really, not small groups where you kind of sit and discuss things, but more presentations, depending on whatever topic about the Eucharist you would like to know more about or what would help you to be inspired. And so you'll kind of be able to pick your own path as to what you want to hear and what you want to be part of during the days of the Congress. And then the Congress will conclude on July 21st with a Mass celebrated by a papal representative. I believe it's going to be Cardinal Christophe Pierre, the papal nuncio, the ambassador really of the Pope to the United States. And so it's just going to be a fantastic event, and Bishop Fleming is going to be there with his brother bishops, and we're just going to have an opportunity to be connected to the larger church and to the Eucharist and to be inspired to share that treasure that we have in the Eucharist with our fellow Catholics throughout our diocese and really throughout the world. For this diocesan group that we're taking, the registration is $1,100. That $1,100 covers transportation in the Midwest. It covers accommodations for 6 nights, and through a gracious gift that we as a diocese have received through the Catholic Home Missions, the 5-day event pass will also be provided to every individual who registers with our group. And so the way the trip is structured really has a couple of travel options, and I'm not going to go into detail here with that because it's on our website, diocesegfb.org. On the landing page there is a button for the Eucharistic Revival. If you click on that button, it'll take you to this event specific, and it'll have the detail about the travel options. But I am going to talk about briefly the way the trip is meant or is actually built to work. And the way that is that on July 16th, that's a Tuesday, individuals at your own arranging, you would fly or drive or however you want to get to St. Louis on the 16th. And I will be there at a hotel. I'll give you your key once you arrive, and then we'll settle in for the evening. And then on the morning of the 17th, we will travel from St. Louis to Indianapolis. Then we'll be in Indianapolis for the entirety of the Congress. The Congress concludes about noon on Sunday the 21st. We then will return to St. Louis, and on Monday the 22nd, individuals can depart whether by flight or however it is that you make your own arrangements. Your registration for this event does not cover that transportation to the Midwest. It only covers things once you are in the Midwest. So it covers the transportation from St. Louis to Indy, back and forth from the hotel to the Congress, and then back to St. Louis at the end of the Congress. And those 6-night accommodations, 2 nights in St. Louis and 4 nights in Indianapolis. And then once again, the gift from Catholic Home Missions covers the registration fee for those who are able to go with us. There are a lot of details about this event that are, once again, different from our pilgrimage. And so I invite you, once again, to go to our website, diocesegfb.org, to learn more about those specifics and the different ways to be able to get to the Midwest and connect with the group. One thing I want to stress, though, is this is the first announcement that we're going to have about this trip going to the Eucharistic Congress. And we believe that the interest in participating in this event is going to be greater than the capacity we have to be able to take everyone. And so we have decided that the only just and fair way to provide the opportunity for everyone who is interested in going a fair chance of getting a spot is to open a bit of a raffle, if you will. Right now on the diocesan website is a registration form. If you fill out that registration form, you'll be entered into a raffle that if we have over our capacity, which once again will be between 40 and 50, if we have more people interested in going within the next week, we will do a raffle on the morning of next Thursday. And you will then be notified if you were part of that selection, and those individuals will only have about 48 hours to claim their spot. Otherwise, we'll move on to others who are interested. If it turns out that we only have 40 or 50 people interested in joining us over the next week, then we won't need that raffle, of course. But if there are more people, then we're going to have to do that raffle just to make it fair to everyone. So I ask you once again, visit the diocesan website for specifics or details. Also give me a call or email me if you've got questions. My email is t.dotterweich, I'll put that on the screen here, at diocesegfb.org, or you can call me at my desk, 406-604-1849. I'll also put that on the screen here. And I just invite you to call me with any questions that you have. This is an exciting opportunity for the people of the Diocese of Great Falls-Billings to be connected to the larger church, to be connected to this historic moment in the history of the life of the church in the United States, and to bring that back to your parishes, to our diocese, and to just really enrich your own relationship with Christ in the Eucharist. And so I hope that you will consider joining us July 16 through 22 for the National Eucharistic Congress in Indianapolis. Bishop Fleming and I look forward to welcoming those of you who are able to join us. Many blessings once again on your Easter journey, and I look forward to seeing who it is that the Holy Spirit has in store for joining us on this trip.